Lex Rush is an MC's MC. From Queens, New York, the hip hop artist cut her teeth through the battle rap and open mic scenes in the city, building her confidence and lyricism along the way. Over the years, she's released several mixtapes and EPs, including Unbridled Enthusiasm and Queen's Affair, as well as collaborative projects such as The Best Is Over with P. Cruz. Consistently, Lex is pushing her pen and reimagining her artistry with each new track. Whenever you are listening to a Lex Rush song, you are bound to be surprised by the sample she uses or the wordplay she flips. In our conversation today, we unpack the making of her projects and her method to songwriting. From her time at MC Night showcases like End of the Week to her modern collaborations with Becky Krill, we cover the vast experiences from Lex Rush's career. There are some songs she's just released that we cover, as well as songs on the way for which we get new information. Lex was so much fun to talk to and full of great insights into her work and process to creating music. I really, really think you guys are going to enjoy this conversation. I had a blast, so enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the If Ever You're Listening podcast. I'm here with the esteemed Queen's MC, Lex Rush. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Lex. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, Stanley, thanks so much for having me. I'm psyched to be on the show.
I am psyched to have you. I've been playing a lot of your stuff recently. Really, really good. We're going to talk about your projects, kind of how you got into rapping and hip hop and in the future. So let's start. I'm curious about the beginning. Kind of talk to me about what was your relationship with music like growing up?
Yeah, I mean, music was always around, like in the house, a little bit of everything, like probably like mostly top 40 stuff, though my dad was like super into classic rock and my mom was a little more like R&B soul. But as you get older and start like, going to school and, you meet your little friends, like I grew up in Bayside, Queens, I would hear like more and more hip hop and my cousins got really into it as well. They had like a ton of CDs. They were super into like Cash Money Records, I think, because like, I mean, what kid does not want those like shiny CD covers? So I got into their collection a little bit, No Limit, but then obviously all the New York stuff, like Hot 97 was like huge, whatever was playing at like school dances. So by the time I was like 10 or 11, I got like super, super into hip hop.
Let's go. Okay. Then do you remember the first like rhyme you made or the first time you came up with a song?
Yeah, that's funny you ask. So I grew up spending at least like 1 month in the summer upstate at like Jewish summer camp, not like religious, but a lot of like Jewish kids, go or whatever. It's like kind of a thing. Anyway, I started making up little raps for my friends, just like personalized ones, and people seemed to really like it. So this was when I was like 13. So then I kept doing it. And then, eventually when I was like 14, 15, I figured I didn't have to just like, make a rap about Erica Rubin. I could like write about other shit. Like, yeah.
Okay, very dope, very dope. And for your come up, when I was doing my research, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed to be like rap battles, ciphers, rap competitions were an essential piece to your story. So talk to me about how do you find yourself in those situations, and you were winning, like you were successful in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of platforms I want to shout out then, because when I was like 15, 16, that's when I found out and started going to like a open mic MC challenge showcase called End of the Week. I didn't compete then. I was like way too green, like way too young, but they like really showed and shaped and demonstrated, what it took to be like a real, like technical, like skilled MC. Like there were some like heavy hitters in the underground scene that would go to the Pyramid Club on Avenue A downtown in New York City, like to do their thing. So I got to really learn from like the best of the best. And everybody was like super gracious and supportive. Like they didn't have to be. I was like some kid in there, but they were like very kind. So, that sort of like also helped with like my confidence, obviously. And then let's see, got into freestyling more in college. We had like a little collective. I went to University of Maryland. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I got back, I found out also like late, because it had been popping for a while at this point, Freestyle Mondays, like another New York City platform with like battles and live band and freestyling. So I started going to that all the time, developed like a great community through that. And then through that sort of led to everything else, like ciphers, like legendary ciphers, supreme bars, other competitions, other opportunities. Still go to end of the week when they pop up. So yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so you build community through these Freestyle Mondays and through these other live events. At what point do you go from, and this could have happened before, so tell me about the chronology. At what point do you start making songs and projects?
Like I had tried to make some songs, like even in high school, college, like some bedroom recording, this and that.
Yeah.
But then I kind of fell off with it, and I was really just doing the freestyle thing because, like, also I graduated college and I got like a full time job. I never thought like
Yep.
music could be like a full time. It just wasn't on my radar like that. I never considered that it could be a full time career. And I mean, I've tried it. Matter of fact, I still have a day job till this day. I'll be fully like transparent or whatever, but it's just always something like I loved and wanted to keep as a side hustle, this and that. So by the time I got into my like early 20s, I wanted to like get more serious and actually try to make an EP. And I made one. And what was it called? I think it was called Unbridled Enthusiasm. Yeah, I think it's still, I don't know, I probably have an old like link somewhere, but yeah.
I have listened to Unbridled Enthusiasm. I
Oh,
do recommend it.
oh, thanks. Wow.
No. I tried to, and we're going to talk about all the projects that I at least found and tell me if I'm missing anything. But this is a 2014 project debut. I wrote down like raw, gritty, feels New York. There's confidence, and that's why I was curious. I was like, is this really the first project, or do you have other projects? Because you came in really had a lot of self-belief. So where did your rap flow and like self-belief and your abilities come from?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all the live shit, like end of the week, freestyle Mondays, even back with freestyling in college, like doing ciphers out on the street. It came from that for sure. Like watching other people who I looked up to and learned from.
And for kind of your influences, who, when you were making music and making songs and doing freestyles, who were some of the MCs that you idolized or that you put on like your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, I mean, it's all the classic guys. Like I would say my top five, is I mean, no surprises, but they're like top five for a reason. It's like Jay-Z, Nas, Black Thought, Kendrick Cole. I got super into like the blog era of rap, but then I was also like, like Tribe, of course, was like huge. Wu-Tang. Like, I mean, the list goes Mob Deep. Like, there's just so many like amazing MCs and lyricists. Like, and then even more sort of out there avant-garde, like Missy Elliott is incredible to me.
Yeah.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is one of my favorite albums of all time. There's no shortage of amazing material to like get inspired by.
Facts. And Queens has a lot of great MCs. You named a couple.
Oh, hell yeah.
So you come from a great lineage of
Yeah.
MCs. For the next project that I found was Lex and the City.
Oh,
This is a
yeah.
couple years later. So talk to me about this one. It is an EP versus an album. I said it sounds more modern, but the beats are still hitting. They're still heavy. The lyrics are tight. How was the process making that project versus Unbridled Enthusiasm?
Unbridled, I was kind of like learning as I go and like just piecing together shit. Like Lex and the City, I had more of like a plan. I worked with one producer, Flames Emoji, who's awesome. Like he does like more now than ever before. Shout out to Flames Emoji. So we just sort of had that like concept in mind. I always wanted to do Lex and the City, but I was not, Sex and the City, the show. It's like an aspiration, like an unreachable aspirational like situation. That was never my life. I don't think it'll ever be my life. But the show Broad City, I was really connected to. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I felt like that was like my friends and I. Like it was like watching us on the screen. So the vibes and the themes are more akin to Broad City, even though it's called Lex and the City. Yeah.
No, that's dope. I caught the Lex sex connection, but I did not think about the Broad City. That's I'm gonna re-listen with that.
Thanks.
The next project, another couple years, but now it shortens the time period. Queen's Affair. As a Queen's MC, I hear even more like electronic synth beats on this project versus the other ones, and it's a collab. You're with Jam Young. So talk to me about how does making a project with someone else differ than making it on your own?
Yeah, I mean, Jam is just one of those guys. Like, again, we met years ago, like doing a show like downtown Lower East Side, but come to find out that we grew up like 10 minutes from one another. Like, he's from like College Point, I'm from Bayside. So, like, Northeast Queens, it's like all right there. And he just impressed me because he could make a great song and he made so many songs. He was such like a workhorse. So I was definitely inspired by his productivity and efficiency in the studio. So we were just able to lock in. So we worked with his longtime collaborator, who's from Queens, Ray Black, and then, or at least formerly his longtime collaborator, and then my like longtime collaborator, who now goes by Atakuya, and they brought in more of like the electronic synth situations and everything. And yeah, I mean, we just locked in for like the love of making music, and it kind of all, it was really like seamless. It took months and months, but it didn't feel long. It just felt like a natural collaborative process. And then, yeah.
That's so cool. And for when you're making a project, are you making like a lot of songs and you're cutting down, or is everything you're doing in the studio, that's pretty much what's going to be on the project? You add don't
That's a
make
good
more than you
question.
need.
We no, we have B-sides that we never, but it's more a question of like, I don't know. I guess we didn't like, they were kind of unfinished or this and that. And these were the ones that we felt the best about that we were able to finish. But we've been talking about releasing these B-sides for like a long time. We got to finally do it. But again, like stuff gets lost in the shuffle of like hard drives. I got to do a better job of like backing things up. Now I'm on top of it, but there are definitely maybe some lost tracks, but maybe Jam has them. Yeah.
Nice. Well, your Bandcamp and where you host, I found that as the best place to find your music because it had so many projects versus like some streaming services. So I feel it felt comprehensive to me.
Thanks.
And there's a lot of singles outside of the projects that I'm going to be talking about today. So
Yeah.
consider this conversation a sample
Oh, cool. Yeah.
sample of the
Now,
stuff.
sometimes I think about deleting old stuff, but then it's like, I don't know, it's a record of it. It could
Yeah.
show, I don't know, the journey or whatnot. Like, yeah.
I think I would vote yes, keep them.
Mm.
Because it does show your growth. It shows your ability too, and how long you've been doing it. That's what I appreciated. I love it when artists, independent artists specifically, are consistent and they put in a lot of work, and you've shown that and so much more.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
outside of the projects, talk to me about kind of what is it like performing, touring. What does that look like for you as a part-time musician? You have your full-time job. What is that realistically like?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, the New York scene, even with, venues closing, there's still a lot of good opportunities to do like local shows. I mean, the venue that's like my home base, Secret Pour, Broadway and Myrtle, owned by Roberto De Jesus and Jamie Coons, they're awesome. But Roberto founded Supreme Bars, and then he and Jamie opened up Secret Pour, and now they're like a great platform venue for tons of like independent hip hop, not to mention like comedy, like drag shows, everything you could possibly want is like there. So yeah, I mean, I've gotten to do some shows out of state, a couple out of the country. I've gotten some like corporate gigs. I don't know. You just have to like reckon with being tired the next day at work sometimes.
I feel that same with even with the podcast and stuff. I have a
Yeah, I'm
full-time
sure. Yeah.
job and it's like, all right, I got to go to work tomorrow
All
and
right, right.
grind it out. So the latest project that I was able to find, then we'll talk about the newer singles, was The Best Is Over. And I was playing that today. I was just telling Lex before this interview started. Love that sound. It's like it's good for the gym. I was at the gym this morning, so like a lot of that, which just it helps flow with the heartbeat. And this is with Pete Cruz, another MC. Talk to me about this one. It feels like there's good samples. It has again this New York flair, good bass lines. What was the project creation like versus the other collab project, Queen's Affair?
Oh yeah, this one was more like, okay, I have this concept. Let me lock in with P. And actually, P is the one who now goes by Atakuya. So they did like all the instrumentation, like all the production, like super, super talented. But I sort of had an outline of how I wanted the project to go
Yeah.
and how I wanted each track to sound. And then we just sort of went like track by track and sending demos and drafts back and forth. And I had a lot of it like kind of written and outlined, and then they matched the music. And this was, yeah, I feel like this was the most sort of intentional collaborative project, if that makes sense. Like, yeah.
That's sick. That's sick. Okay. So you're big on kind of creating the vision, or is that like a relatively new thing where you're like, no, I want a full vision done before we start working on these projects now?
That was a new thing, I think, for that
Yeah.
album. And I've still gone back and forth. Like, I don't do it still for every
Hmm.
project. Like, since then, there's been like other EPs with like Calico, the Hitman, a great producer, Mindframe. Me and Becky Crow, we have a little bit more of a vision now of what we're doing, but more so in terms of like sound. But this was like, yeah, I definitely wanted to do a concept album with a kind of storyline, a very intentional sequence. Like, yeah.
Love that. Love that. Talk to me about your your synergy, your artistic synergy with Becky Krill. We have some great new songs for the listener. You could start with the 2026 stuff. Working Tonight, As We Speak, LaGuardia is out. Kind of what is that like, and how do you guys synergize and kind of collab?
Yeah, Becky's dope. Like we got friendly again at Supreme Bars, which is an MC and producer competition that I've been going to for like 10 years, again, founded by Roberto, who I mentioned. So she's been one of the convening producers for a while. And, you know, some months back, or maybe a year back at this point, I can't recall exactly, but I was saying to her like, oh, you know, like I want to like get back into like making beats because I've dabbled here, but I kind of suck. Like, but I have all these like samples that I like, think songs that I want to sample.
Mm.
But I just like really suck at doing it. Slash, I like don't get around to doing it. And she goes like, send me your list of the songs you want to sample. Like, I'll give it a go. So I sent her the most like unhinged list of like random ass songs, and she just started sending me stuff. And I was like, oh shit, like this is great. Like I like a ton of these. Like let me like write to them. And then it started to take even more of a shape because we did the song Illith Fair with D Nasty that just so happened to sample one of the tracks on my list, and she crushed it. It sampled the Building a Mystery by Sarah McLachlan, right? But we made it, and then right around the time we were putting it out, coincidentally, that whole Lilith Fair documentary, which was really, really cool, happened to come out at the same time. Again, we did not plan it. It was just, that's just how it worked out. So anyway, then Becky was like, yo, if you think of more like artists who were in the Lilith Fair in the 90s that you want to sample, maybe we could make that the theme and then have a couple of bonus tracks. So we've been working on more of those. So the latest one, LaGuardia samples Tracy Chapman. We got, what else do we have that's out that samples it? Oh, I Would samples. Well, no, that's not. We got more coming with like the Lilith Fair artists. But yeah, that's kind of like the direction we're going. Like singer-songwriter samples, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I love that's sick. Even the even Working Tonight, it's not Lilith Fair, but
Nah, that's Frank Ocean.
Frank
Yeah.
Ocean
Yeah.
Pyramids. It's still a sick sample. And the way that's flipped, I hear even on your socials, you're rapping over Madonna
Oh, yeah,
songs.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, samples is a really big piece of hip hop. It's a really important way hip hop even starts. Talk to me about kind of what sampling means to you, and how do you pick the songs? How did you select the songs you wanted to send to Becky? Let's even stay there.
Oh yeah, I mean, sampling is the coolest because it's like and the way it can be transformed, and sometimes it's like you would never even guess that this tiny little piece from this song made it into this song and transformed in this way. There are so many ways to do it, and then even like sometimes people knock like a quote unquote like obvious sample, but there's still a cool way to like refresh it, bring it new life. Everything is kind of like an exchange and like paying homage. So I mean, I'm totally pro sampling. I love the art of it. And then, yeah, I just had a list in the notes app of my phone of shit that I thought would sound cool and was like a little bit like people of songs that I guess like that I think are randomly cool, but I wouldn't necessarily expect a hip hop song to sample. That was kind of the criteria.
Sick. Okay.
Which again, I guess it's not a hard and fast rule because Pyramids, I mean, on Channel Orange, you could see other hip hop artists sampling it, but like
Yeah.
maybe not like that Vampire Weekend joint that we sampled for Tai Chi, other things like that. Yeah.
Definitely not Sarah McLachlan. Like it's you pick some rare stuff. And when I listened to Working Tonight, I didn't know it had the sample until after I did my research, and I was like, okay, that's what she sampled. But at the time, I was like, this beat is just so dark, moody,
Oh,
cool. It feels like nighttime. And then I
yeah,
was like,
shout out to Becky. Like,
yeah, she killed that. That was sick. Okay. So for 2026, we are still in the early months of 2026. Talk to me about what are you looking forward to this year? What's on the to-do list? What should fans look for?
oh yeah, good question. More tracks with Becky Krill. Locking back in with the producer Mind Rush to drop Mind Rush 2. We dropped the first Mind Rush last year. That's
Mhm.
more like barring out. That's a little more like boom bap, like that's his style. But I like doing that. I get the hunger to do that from time to time. And then like let me think. Oh, I want to do like some more like live band performances. Like get a band together, record it, put out like a live version of various tracks. That'll be on my to do list. And I won't say anything else because I feel like that's enough for the year. I can't go like overboard. But the list in my phone is probably longer.
No, that's a lot. That's gonna be sick. I'm a huge live album fan. I feel like that's a lost art. So live albums would immediately cop that if you drop that.
Thanks.
For song making, I didn't ask specifically, but how do you come up with your lyrics? Where do you find inspiration in a day? Is it kind of watching TV, conversations? Is it your personal life, other people's lives, all of the above? What does it look like?
Yeah, all of the above. Like sometimes I'll just jot ideas. Again, like the notes app on my phone is I don't know what I would do if it like I like it got lost. I'm like tethered to it. But I have so many like ideas, random bars. Sometimes it's just like random word flips. Sometimes it's like personal feelings, actual relationships, whether past or present. And yeah, and then everyday life, sometimes the world. I try to be like, I turn a little bit more inward than like specifically like commenting outward. I feel like I'm like better than that in song form. I feel like it's really hard to do as much as I want to like comment about like all the horrible shit that's like, happening in the world right now and all the injustices and everything. It's hard to, for me, I find it hard to do it in song form that doesn't sound like too on the nose, you know what I mean? Some people are really good at it. I don't know if I'm that good at it. So I try to turn a little bit, like take those feelings of like dread and turn them like into inward songs, that sort of thing.
Very
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. It is very difficult to do that, to talk without sounding too preachy or too like on the nose. So I think your style, your dynamic and your production, but it's all you because you're the center of it. So I think it makes a cool blend of the growth of your sound. So this is the If Ever You're Listening podcast. So I'm curious, what is Lex Rush listening to? What's on your playlist these days?
Ooh, a lot of shit. Let me bring up my winter 2026 playlist. Well, I gotta shout out some people I know that are doing like super dope things. I gotta shout out Nori, who's the founder of Java Jam, and his album "Fuck That's the Rhythm" is really really dope. He's like again like lots of like live band hip hop. He goes like super super hard. So yeah, I gotta shout out Nori for sure. And then in terms of man, I mean, of course, like the new J. Cole, I'm bumping. What else? I like the new Joyce Manor album a lot. That's really more like rock.
Yeah.
Hemlock Springs, that new album is dope. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the Larry June Currency Alchemist album that dropped today. Yeah, long answer. My playlist is very like, I try to keep up, but yeah.
Nice. Okay, very modern too, very up to date. Okay. So for fans, so like just music listeners, actually, yeah, and I have kind of two questions for that. I'm curious about your relationship with your fans and your supporters because when I do look at your socials, even YouTube videos, that you have a strong believers in your music and strong support. Talk to me about what has been kind of the best part, and what is the uniting thing about your community that you found really really uplifting over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like people I know and like other
Mhm.
artists, and we just kind of like mess with each other and like each other's stuff. Like, it can be hard to reach like new audiences. Like, I try sometimes a little bit successfully, sometimes not so successfully, but at the end of the day, I just like the community aspect and making art with other people and sharing it with other people that appreciate it. So yeah, I feel like the supporters are people that I know and I support their art back, like, but from a genuine place, not like in a transactional way.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. For this is a topic that is talked about a lot nowadays, AI in
Mm.
music. I'm curious about for independent artists, I'm always curious about like how do you guys see it? Do you see it as like a competitor? Do you see it as a tool? Do you see it as a complement to your work? Kind of where do you see it, or do you see it as a non-factor? You don't actually interact with it.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? I don't interact with it for music. I would feel like it's not like if I'm writing lyrics, I don't want to get them from ChatGPT. Like it's not satisfying. It's like, and it just goes against everything I've ever like learned and held near and dear for like
Hmm.
most of my life about like what it is to, you know, be an MC or just be an artist, like period. You know, that, but again, like that's my take. I like the human element, the human connection, the human imperfections. And yeah, I don't know. I think like as an independent artist too, again, I think it's about like also going out, connecting with people firsthand, going to shows. And I think if I mean, it probably, as it will continue to rise, I think people will still crave that human connection and that'll be more and more valuable. So I hope that's like the optimistic view, but
Fingers
you know,
crossed, you and I
yeah,
both.
seriously.
For um advice. I want to end this conversation with advice. Thank you so much, Alexis. It's been fantastic.
No, thank you.
If you were to give advice to somebody in year one of their independent music career, let's say you're talking to Lex from 2014, 2013, right before Unbridled comes out, Unbridled Enthusiasm, what would be a piece of advice you would provide them to kind of put them on the right path or give them the right mindset?
I mean, have fun with it. Do what you love. Make sure you're doing something that you like and care about. Um, that's like the sort of rose-colored glasses advice. But I would also say like do way more research than I did. Like I did not look into proper promo at all, or the most effective way, or the new like platforms that were happening at the time. I just kind of like made some shit and like if you found it, you found it, or like maybe like passed out some links or whatever it was to my friends. But you could like set yourself up with a real good like research and marketing plan like early. If you really want to do it, get all that shit together and like have your ducks in a row way more than I did, especially in the early days.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Marketing is so underrated, so underappreciated when it comes to this stuff. And it's how people even find out that we exist. So
Yeah.
um building community, figure out the marketing strategy. Lex, thank you so much for this conversation. Where can folks find you? Where are you? Speaking of marketing.
I'm on at LexRush13 on all platforms, IG, TikTok too, on all DSPs. Um, Bandcamp is lexrush13.bandcamp.com, I think. Thank you. And oh, I also want to shout out a couple of more collaborators. Dale Novella, Ben McVinney, and Jonathan Hasseldean. Those two guys are over in the UK. Dale is in Brooklyn. We also work on a lot of stuff that's out, more like house inflicted type stuff. And Ben has a new album dropping this year that me and Dale are both on. So shout out to them. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Lex. This has been fantastic. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too.